Good afternoon, everyone. We warmly welcome you to the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation's 2023 Annual General Membership Meeting. We welcome questions and comments from our members through their duly appointed authorized representatives or delegated proxies. In the Q&A portion after each proposed resolution, the members may submit their questions or comments through Slido or to the Office of the Corporate Secretary by sending a Viber message at 0917-838-0490 or by sending an email to PEMC_OCS@wesm.ph. You may access our virtual Q&A platform, Slido, through our QR codes on your respective tables. When submitting questions, comments, or statements, please state your name and verify or state that you are the duly appointed authorized representative or the delegated proxy of a sectoral member. May we also remind all attendees to please comply with the minimum public health and safety requirements. If possible, please keep your masks on at all times. The annual general membership meeting will commence in a few minutes. In the meantime, please feel free to browse PEMC's State of the Market Report for 2022 through the QR code flashed on screen. You may also find link to our annual report on our social media pages. If you haven't done so already, share, like, and follow our PEMC social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the 2023 PEMC Annual General Membership Meeting. This event is an annual gathering of PEMC member companies represented by the heads of the organizations or their authorized representatives with the objective of bringing together all PEMC members. Today's discussions will also provide updates on PEMC's current corporate situation. As we start our program, may we request everyone to stand as we come together in prayer, to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Lord God, source of life, none of us live for or because of ourselves. We all live as part of a community facing challenging and uncertain times. Perplexed by circumstances beyond our control or understanding, we rely on you for comfort and encouragement to further strengthen our faith. As we continue to fulfill our industry's mission following the global pandemic, we implore you to bless the work of our hands in sustaining and enhancing life, and to guide us to answer your calling towards the path for the common good. In the discussion that will take place this day, open our hearts and minds to sense the wisdom you have to share. May this time of gathering be blessed with your presence. May those who are present be blessed with your wisdom. May the organizations they represent be blessed as instruments of your love. All these we ask through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, and our Savior. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
You may now be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now begin the meeting proper. This year's AGMM will be presided by the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Corporation, Mr. Noel V. Aboboto.
Good afternoon, fellow directors, officers, members, and guests, and welcome to this year's annual general membership meeting of the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation. As chairman of the board of directors of PEMC, I officially called the 2023 annual general membership meeting to order. On behalf of the board of directors, I welcome you, fellow members, to the meeting. Please let me take the opportunity to introduce to you the members of the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation Board of Directors, or the PEM Board. In addition to myself, the members of the PEM Board present today are the independent directors. Attorney Elvin Haysidea is the president of the corporation. Engineer Fortunato Lainez is the Chief Governance Officer of the corporation. For the generation sector, Director Lenita Go is the Treasurer of the corporation. Director Juan Eugenio Rojas. For the distribution sector, Director Alan Laniba. Attorney Jose Ronald Valles is represented today, this afternoon, by Mr. Chito Zagala. For the system operator, Attorney Ronald Dylan Concepcion. For the market operator, Attorney Richard Nethercott. Director Denel Aboitis, Director Victor Emmanuel Santos, Director Filino Herbert Agdigos, and Director Roel Castro regretfully are not in attendance today at this annual general membership meeting. I would like to thank our board of directors for their dedication and willingness to serve. Next, I'd like to introduce to you the members of the PEMC Executive Leadership Team. Attorney Kate Aubrey Puhililia, our Corporate Secretary, Attorney Andrea Hoson Mendiola, our Chief Legal Officers, Mr. Herbie Ngirngir, our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Benbenito Mendoza, our Chief Market Assessment Officer, Attorney Hazel Lopez, our Chief Enforcement and Compliance Officer, Ms. Elaine Gonzalez, our Chief Internal Audit Officer, and Mr. Patrick Fernandez, the Chief Information System and Communications Technology Officer. The managers of MC are also present in this afternoon's meeting. We would like also to acknowledge the presence of our WESM and REM governance committees, namely Compliance Committee, Chairman Dr. Peter Yu is with us today also, Dispute Resolution Administrator, Attorney Teodoro Calao IV, Market Surveillance Committee, Attorney Doroteo Aguila, PEM Audit Committee, Engineer Francis Castro Jr., the REM Governance Committee, the Rules Change Committee, and the Technical Committee. We will now proceed with the certification of notices and determination of quorum. May I call our Corporate Secretary, who will establish that this annual general membership meeting has been duly called and that quorum is present for this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The PEM Board fixed May 22, 2023 as a date for the closing of the books of the corporation for determining members entitled to vote and/or participate at this meeting. As of closing date, there are 335 sectoral members in good standing with a total of 3,098,783.98 voting rights. The notice was duly published in the corporation's website at www.wesam.ph on May 31, 2023. Likewise, the same had been sent via electronic mail to the addresses on record of duly appointed authorized representatives of the sectoral members. The rationale and explanation for each agenda item, which requires the sectoral members' approval, were also provided in the notices. The sectoral members were likewise required to register their intent to participate and vote via remote communication prior to the scheduled AGMM. The number of members who are in attendance, including those who exercise their voting rights, consists of 123 sectoral members with a total of 2,131,544.76 voting rights, or 68.79% of the total voting rights held by the sectoral members. In accordance with the bylaws of the corporation, majority of the voting rights of all sectoral members in good standing shall constitute a quorum. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I report that we have in attendance the number of members with voting rights which satisfy the quorum requirement provided in the bylaws for effective resolution of the proposals to be presented in today's AGMM.
Thank you. Based on the report of the Corporate Secretary, as chairman of this meeting, I find that proper notice has been given and that a quorum is present. Accordingly, this annual general membership meeting has been properly convened. I will now turn to the formal agenda of today's meeting. The notice of the meeting and accompanying explanation and rational outline the business that will be considered today. Ms. Secretary, in brief, could you please state the business of this meeting?
As stated in the notices sent to each of the sectoral members of PEMC, the business of this meeting includes, first, the approval of the minutes of the 2022 Annual General Membership Meeting as presented in proposed resolution number 1. Second, the reporting of the management of the milestones and key achievements of PEMC and a clear picture of how the PEMC management reached its goals in 2022. Third, the approval of the 2022 audited financial statements of PEMC for the fiscal year ending on December 31, 2022, and the report of PEMC on the financials of the corporation as presented in proposed resolution number 2. Fourth, the ratification of the members of the acts, resolutions, and deeds of the board and management since the annual general membership meeting held on July 20, 2022, as presented in proposed resolution number 3. And lastly, fifth, the chairman's outlook, which provides the members with a view of the opportunities and challenges to be faced by PEMC and its management's goals and strategies for the year 2023 and the next years.
Were there any member proposals for business for this meeting properly filed with you as Corporate Secretary?
None, Mr. Chairman. No nomination or proposal for agenda or additional business for this meeting was endorsed to the Office of the Corporate Secretary as of June 19, 2023.
Since no member nominations or proposals were properly filed with PEMC's Office of the Corporate Secretary in advance of this meeting as provided in the organizational information provided to the members, the order of business shall be as so stated earlier and as so outlined in the notices of this meeting. Likewise, for clarity, let me take a few moments to outline the format of today's meeting. Each agenda shall be reported or stated. Thereafter, the floor will be open for discussion or comments and questions which any member may have concerning the particular agenda. The PEM board and management will respond to the questions which may be submitted. The members will have a minute to submit such via the options provided at the start of the meeting. After the completion of each discussion, the management's proposed resolution, if applicable, shall be read, and the votes taken shall be reported by the corporate secretary to the members. As each resolution is tabled, a slide will show the results of the voting on the screen. Ms. Secretary, kindly state for the record the rules of conduct and procedure that we must follow in this AGMM.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As this is a meeting of PEMC members, only the duly appointed authorized representatives of the sectoral members or their appointed proxies or sub-proxies are entitled to make comments or ask questions. All other attendees are welcome as observers. Following the guidelines, the members, through their duly appointed authorized representatives or proxies, will be given the opportunity to ask questions to the directors, officers, and members of the management. Anyone who wishes to ask questions or give comments is encouraged to raise them at this time when such report or resolution is being considered in the meeting. Mr. Chairman, let me report that no written questions from members were received prior to this meeting. Nevertheless, at the appropriate time, you may ask the members as the chairman of the meeting to make a comment or ask questions. So for those asking questions, please state your name and the sectoral member you are representing before asking your respective questions. I shall read the questions or comments received by means of Viber message through 0917-838-0490. To repeat, it's 0917-838-0490. Or through electronic mail, you can send via email through PEMC_OCS@wesm.ph, or those that will be entered via Slido. Furthermore, to address as many questions or comments as possible, each person is allowed to ask only up to 2 questions. The board may refrain from explaining any matter that is outside the scope of its accountability, including any question unrelated to the matter at hand in this annual general membership meeting of the members, any question that is deemed that the giving of explanation would significantly damage the common interest of the members, any question that requires an investigation to answer, and any question for which the giving of explanation would infringe upon the rights of PEMC or any other person. If, due to time constraints, there are members who have questions which could not be entertained, the PEMC officers will duly reply after the meeting through electronic mail or other modes of communication as may be warranted. Lastly, the chairman may also waive or allow exceptions to the foregoing rules if, in his judgment, he deems it necessary or proper under the circumstances.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Now, may I call our Chief Legal Officer, Attorney Andrea Hoson Mendiola, to explain the voting procedure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. Please allow me to explain the voting procedure according to PEMC's bylaws. Members in good standing as of May 22, 2023 may exercise their voting rights on the agenda items through electronic voting and online voting, through their sectoral members' duly appointed, authorized representative, or appointed or delegated proxy. Please be advised that the chairman of the meeting, in accordance with the terms of the participation and voting intent registration, signed and agreed upon, in cases where he was appointed as proxy, with discretion to vote as proxy holder, or if there is failure to cast the votes prior to closing, voted in favor of all resolutions passed. Upon registration, PEMC sectoral members are entitled to vote in accordance with their voting rights, which are equivalent to the number of votes they can cast during the meeting. Voting rights are not constant, and are determined at the start of every meeting. The total voting rights allocated to each sector are computed as follows. First, we list the number of sectoral members in good standing in each sector. Second, we determine the voting factor. The voting factor is the resulting product after multiplication of total number of members of each sector to one another. Third, we proceed with the determination of the voting rights of sectoral members within a particular sector. For generation companies or GenCos, we compute the total megawatts. This is the total number of megawatts owned, controlled, or operated by the sectoral members in the generation sector. Second, we compute the megawatt quotient of each GenCo sectoral member. This is the resulting quotient after dividing the megawatts of a GenCo sectoral member with that of the total megawatts. Lastly, we compute each GenCo voting right. This is the product after multiplying the GenCo sectoral member megawatt quotient with the total voting rights. For private distribution utilities or PDUs, first we know the PDUs voting rights. The voting rights are divided equally between PDUs and electric cooperatives or ELCs. Second, we compute the total PDU customer number. This is the sum or total of all the customers served by all the PDUs. Third, we compute the customer quotient. This is the resulting quotient after dividing the customer numbers of a PDU member with that of the total PDU customers. For electric cooperatives or ELCs, first, we know the number of ELCs. Second, we compute the voting rights of each ELC. This is the quotient after dividing the voting rights of the ELC equally with the number of ELC members. For the system operator, we divide the total voting rights with the number of sectoral members in good standing for the transmission or the system operator. For the supply sector, we get the total number of sectoral members in good standing of the supply sector and then divide the total voting rights equally among all members under the sector. The bylaws of PEMC provides that majority of the voting rights of those present and voting shall constitute a valid corporate act.
Now we will conduct the formal business as set forth in the notice of the meeting. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the 2022 Annual General Membership Meeting held on 20 of July 2022. A copy of the minutes has been made available by publication on the PEMC website and was sent to the addresses of record of the authorized representatives or duly appointed proxies of the sectoral members. I will now ask the Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution.
Mr. Chairman, the management is proposing the adoption of Resolution number 2023-01 for the approval of the minutes of the Annual General Membership Meeting held on July 20, 2022. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Are there any comments or questions on the minutes? And if any, member through its authorized representatives or proxy has questions or comments specifically relating to the minutes of the 2022 AGMM, please submit the same through the modes provided earlier.
Ms. Corporate Secretary, please allow 1 minute for the members to submit their questions and comments, which you may read aloud for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, we did not receive any questions on this matter.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Given that there are no questions or comments, may I hear from the Corporate Secretary the report on the vote taken?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that we have received and tabulated the following votes as of June 19, 2023. For those in favor of the proposed resolution, 117 of members voting, or 2,086,815.49, or 97.90% of the voting rights of those present and voting. For those against the proposed resolution, 0 of the members voting, or 0% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those who abstained, 6 of members voting, or 44,729.27, or 2.10% of the voting rights of those present and voting. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, with members owning more than the majority of the voting rights of those present and voting having voted for the motion has been approved and resolution number 2023-01 has been adopted.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. At this juncture, I would like to present to you the President of PEMC, Attorney Elvin Hayes Nidea, to present an update on the operations and management of the corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. Commitment has always been an intangible tool, if not the key to achieving what seem to be unachievable goals. Despite the challenges being faced by the organization, it is my duty as PEMC President to deliver the highest form of service that we can provide. I stepped up and rallied our colleagues to achieve organizational excellence and operational efficiency. Having said that, I am proud to present and highlight the noteworthy accomplishments for 2022 of PEMC. To ensure transparent and reliable market, PEMC, through the Market Surveillance Committee, ensures that updates through regular market reports are made available to prospective investors, power industry players, and policy and regulatory bodies in terms of the status of the market based on the established market monitoring indices. We provided recommendations as a result of our monitoring and assessment of the market with the hope of contributing to the way our stakeholders will make sound decisions that will benefit our consumers. Meanwhile, the Compliance Committee played a significant role in instilling a culture of compliance among market participants. PEMC is not here to penalize market players, rather to encourage compliance with market rules and consistently apply these rules to all the participants. Penalties are imposed to erring participants after a thorough process of investigation. I am hopeful that with the WCO certification requirement now in place under the oversight of the Compliance Committee, the WSM trading participants would become even more efficient and trained in complying with the rules through active attendance to and participation in the WCO accredited trainings and seminars being conducted by PEMC and IMAP. Let me segue and invite all compliance officers to attend the face-to-face WCO Summit, which we will hold in Davao City this coming October. Of course, as we govern this market, participants are bound by certain market rules that will level the playing field for all the stakeholders. We would like to ensure that our market rules are responsive to the needs of the industry and, more importantly, are aligned with the regulations and policy directions of our government. In 2022, PEMC, through the Rules Change Committee, endorsed and recommended approval of several rules change proposals, leading to market enhancements and implementations of certain market developments and mechanisms, including the market rules and manuals related to the Green Energy Option Program, GEOP, market resource modeling, metering and billing, system security and reliability guidelines, pricing error and additional compensation for generators, and the WSM governance committees. As we develop new rules and manuals, along with enhancing the existing ones, PEMC ensures that due process is followed, affording participants notice and the opportunity to be heard. Several studies were conducted by PEMC through the technical committee. These studies include, among others, the demand-side bidding in the WESM, distribution system operator DSO managed network, viability of embedded generators as insurance generators in highly urbanized cities, and establishment of a framework for the coordinated operations and governance of battery energy storage systems, BESS, and energy storage systems, ESS. PEMC, through the PEM Audit Committee, regularly reviews the performance of market operations and conducts special audits of systems employed by the market operator in operating the WESM. In 2022, the PAC administered the engagement of a third party to review and audit the must-run tool, net settlement surplus, and other market enhancements. These audits are aimed at ensuring the integrity of the market, its processes, and its systems as operated by the Independent Electricity Market Operator of the Philippines, or IMAP. If there are disputes in the market, these are properly dealt with by the appointed Dispute Resolution Administrator, DRA. The WESM DRA continuously finds ways on how to enhance dispute resolution by constantly recommending the enhancement of existing rules and by capacitating the dispute management protocol focal persons. The accomplishment of PEMC in the preparation of the renewable energy is worth mentioning. The appointed RE Registrar, PEMC managed all the activities related to the registration of REM participants as well as the issuance of renewable energy certificates to REM participants. The REM Governance Committee took part in this undertaking by continuously monitoring the activities of both the RE Registrar and REM participants. Part of the mandate of the RGC is to facilitate the REM rules change process. Through the proposals submitted by various stakeholders, the RGC provided its recommendations for the amendments to certain REM rules provisions, leading to the DOE's approval and issuance of department circulars, specifically on the composition and obligation of the RGC and REC issuance, and the timelines for the National Transmission Corporation's data provision to the RE Registrar. The RGC initiated the initial discussions on the implementation of the voluntary RE market and recommended the conduct of a full study on the same. PEMC continued to provide service to our external clients by engaging participants in activities initiated by PEMC that would promote compliance and allow for enhanced knowledge and increased camaraderie. Despite the restrictions caused by the pandemic, PEMC was able to conduct several market participants events and trainings, including the first ever market participants town hall on market reports, followed by the annual general membership meeting, which was conducted back-to-back with the electricity market exchanges on the governance of BESS and other energy storage systems, and the WCO Summit 2022. In 2022, PEMC rolled out the WESM University, which aims to provide training for market participants on market governance matters in compliance with the WCO accreditation program. PEMC successfully conducted 14 training courses and 2 collaboration events for more than 2,000 participants. In all these training engagements, PEMC received an average rating of 4.44 or very satisfactory. Next year, PEMC will explore the possibility of expanding the WESM University through a partnership with the academy for an internship and apprenticeship program. PEMC is committed to achieving organizational excellence and efficiency in the way we carry out our mandate as the governance arm. We have maintained our integrated management system certification in 2022 after completing the first surveillance audit conducted by Brainland, one of the world's leading testing service providers, which certifies management systems according to international standards. Consequently, PEMC was awarded with certification on quality management, ISO 9001, and information security, ISO 2701. PEMC's corporate performance is likewise measured based on the performance metrics set out in the PEM Board approved corporate performance measure. PEMC's CPM score steadily increased over the year. Initially, we started at 3.96 January to May, to 4.14 January to October, and 4.46 January to December, equivalent to a very satisfactory rating in 2022. I would like to thank you all, our stakeholders and industry partners, for your continued support and cooperation. Of course, I cannot discount the efforts and commitment put in by the members of our WESM governance committees, WGC, under the leadership of our Chief Governance Officer, Engineer Fortunato C. Laines, and most importantly, by the competent and dedicated people of PEMC. For without all your contributions, all these things, our achievements for the past year would not have been possible. Truly, what I have been envisioning and aspiring for the organization is slowly coming to fruition. As we move forward to 2023, we, Team PEMC, in keeping with our mission and vision, will ensure efficient and effective WESM governance imbued with integrity and transparency. Let me end my report by stating that the test of our claim of successfully delivering services to our market participants is not by adding knowledge to those who already know, but it is whether we have contributed knowledge and understanding to those who lack the same. Thank you very much and good afternoon again.
Thank you, President Nidea. There is no vote to be taken on the report, but members do have the opportunity to ask questions or give comments. We'll give it a minute for those who would like to comment on the report of President Nidea. Any question or comment posted, submitted, or emailed, Ms. Secretary?
No questions as of this time after a minute, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. If there are no questions, we now close the discussion and proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is a report on the corporation's financials for the previous year and for the approval of the corporation's audited financial statement for fiscal year ending 31 December 2022. Inasmuch as there are no questions, I would like to call on PEMC's Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Herbie Ngirunger, who shall deliver and present to the membership 2022 PEMC Financial Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. Navarro, Amper and Company, or Deloitte Philippines, PEMC's external auditor, expresses that the company's financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position as of December 31, 2022, its financial performance, and its cash flows for the years then ended, in accordance with the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards, or the PFRS. The statement of assets, liabilities, and fund balance show that PEMC's total assets in 2022 decreased by 237.29 million pesos. This is mainly attributable to the company's total current assets, which had a significant decrease, particularly in the cash and cash equivalents, amounting to 195.9 million pesos. The net cash used in the company's operating activities amounted to 54.1 million pesos, and in addition, payments for the amounts due to IMAP of 115.31 million pesos, lease liabilities of 11.89 million pesos, and purchase of capital assets of 14.43 million pesos were made during the year. Furthermore, the advances made by the company to IMAP, which reduced by 27.58 million pesos due to its settlements exceeding the additions. And the company's defined benefit asset, which was reduced by 21.83 million pesos, resulting from its revaluation, also contributed materially to the decrease in the total assets. The total liabilities, on the other hand, decreased by 120.35 million pesos, which was primarily caused by the payments to the amounts due to IMAP and the lease liabilities as mentioned earlier. On the statement of receipts and expenses, total receipts in 2022 amounted to 161.37 million pesos, which decreased by 37.88 million as compared to 2021. While this decreased, total expenses increased by 25.54 million pesos from 231.76 million in 2021 to 257.29 million in 2022. Though there was a total of 18.53 million decrease in the outside services, utilities, and taxes, all other expenses increased by a total of 44.6 million pesos. As a result, PEMC ended the year 2022 with excess of expenses over receipts amounting to 95.92 million pesos. Let me now present to you the comparison between the 2022 actual utilization and the 2018 budget approved by the Energy Regulatory Commission. As shown, the combined actual utilization of both PEMC and IMAP amounted to 646.52 million in 2022. However, the market transaction fees collected in 2022 based on the 2018 ERC approved budget amounted only to 448.97 million pesos, resulting to a deficit of 197.55 million pesos. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Herbie Ngirongir. Before proceeding to the management's proposed resolution, may I know if there are comments, questions concerning the financial affairs of PEMC? You're given time, a minute, to submit your questions. Ms. Secretary, any member who submitted a comment or question on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, we did not receive any questions on this matter.
Thank you. If there are no questions, we now close the discussion. Chief Governance Officer Fortunato Lainez of the PEM Board Audit Committee is to read the management proposal, and the Corporate Secretary will share the vote taken on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, as member of the PEM Board Audit Committee, we have received and reviewed the 2022 audited financial statement of PEMC for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2022. Accordingly, the management is proposing the adoption of Resolution Number 2023-02 for the approval of the audited financial statement of PEMC for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2022. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Resolved that the financial report and audited financial statement of the corporation for calendar year 2022 are hereby confirmed, ratified, and approved. This is for ratification of the members.
Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that we have received and tabulated the following votes. For those in favor of the proposed resolution, 116 of members voting, or 2,082,258.46, or 97.69% of the voting rights of those present and voting. For those against the proposed resolution, 0 of members voting, or 0% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those who abstained, 7 members voting, or 49,286.31, or 2.31% of the voting rights of those present and voting. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, with members owning more than the majority of the voting rights of those present and voting, having voted for the motion has been approved and resolution number 2023-02 has been adopted.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Next on the agenda is the ratification and approval of the acts, resolutions, and deeds of the Board of Directors, its committees, and the management of the corporation since the annual general membership meeting held on 20 July 2022. We will be glad to answer any question which the members may have concerning the actions of the PEM Board and management. Are there any questions? Please submit your questions via Slido or via Viber or email to the Office of the Corporate Secretary. We'll have a minute to take your questions. Ms. Corporate Secretary, did we receive any questions on this matter?
Mr. Chairman, as of this time, we did not receive any questions on this matter.
If there are no questions, we now close the discussion. President Idea is to read the management proposal, and the Corporate Secretary will share the vote taken on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, the management is proposing the adoption of resolution number 2023-03 for the ratification of the acts, resolutions, and deeds of the Board of Directors and management, crucial to the successful performance of PEMC in 2022. The resolution is being flashed on the screen. Resolved that all acts, resolutions, and deeds of the Board of Directors and management of the corporation from the annual general membership meeting held on 20 July 2022 up to the date of this meeting be as they hereby are confirmed, ratified, and approved. This is for ratification of the members.
Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that we have received and tabulated the following votes as of June 19, 2023. For those in favor of the proposed resolution, 117 of members voting, or 2,086,815.49, or 97.90% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those against the proposed resolution, 0 of members voting, or 0% of the voting rights of those present and voting. And for those who abstained, 6 of members voting, or 44,729.27, or 2.10% of the voting rights of those present and voting. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, with members owning more than a majority of the voting rights of those present and voting, having voted for the motion has been adopted. It has been approved, and resolution number 2023-03 has been adopted.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Fellow members, kindly allow me to deliver my message. Magandang hapon po ulit sa inyong lahat. And once again, thank you for coming over to attend this 2023 Annual General Membership Meeting of PEMC. PEMC sets its goals and targets annually to provide a roadmap for the governance of WESM and the renewable energy market. We call it the REM. This activity is critical for PEMC to clarify and clearly set the path as to where it wants to be in the coming years and align the activities with the government's policy and regulatory direction by maximizing all its available resources. Despite the complexities of the power industry, PEMC is firm in its commitment to carry out its mandate as the governance arm. In alignment with the government's policies direction, PEMC will continuously strive for excellence and achieve its vision as a premier electricity market and a champion of governance. From 2023 to 2025, PEMC will prioritize the following key activities. First and foremost, PEMC will remain steadfast in ensuring a reliable and transparent WESM and REM through the effective and efficient governance. The corporation will focus on activities that will further improve compliance to market rules, and monitoring of activities of market participants. To do this, PEMC will strengthen its compliance and monitoring mechanisms and procedures, conduct regular and special audits of the market and market systems, and further develop the performance standards for the WESM and REM. In addition, PEMC will continue to conduct studies on market development, initiatives providing recommendations to DOE and ERC aim to have effective market designs and mechanisms for the WESM and REM. PEMC also commits to continuously provide adequate support to its shareholders and oversee agencies, service providers, and other partner institutions. In doing so, PEMC will carry out activities that will enhance market awareness, impart knowledge about market governance, engage stakeholders in all market activities, ensure availability of accurate and updated market reports and information, establish protocols with its partners' resolutions, and facilitate the process for providing responsive market rules and manuals. For 2022, the competitive retail electricity market, or CREM, or the retail competition and open access, or COA, market has experienced continuous major enhancements introduced in the market for the benefit of the consumers. Lowering of our COA thresholds to 500 kilowatts in February 2022, implementation of the Green Energy Option Program in April 2022, offering 100 kilowatts to threshold and above, and promulgation of Energy Retail Aggregation Program in June 2022. As a result, an increase in participation from the end users who are now able to exercise their rights of choosing the best supply of electricity tailored to fit their needs was observed, tallying at 109 additional end users opted to participate in the RCOA for the 2022 billing year, which resulted in a total of 1,932 contestable customers. Meanwhile, the GOP already had 199 end users by the end of the billing year. More activities are in the pipeline to further empower the Filipino consumers with their electricity choice, including the implementation of the retail market in the Mindanao grid. The next key area in PEMC's corporate strategic plan is supporting the initiatives for the energy sector through the compliance with policy and regulatory directives. With the priority given by the government to the renewable energy market, reserves market, and Western Mindanao, PEMC will assist in the establishment in the integration of these markets to the Western and exert all efforts for the eventual smooth and successful implementation of these major government undertakings. Lastly, among the top priorities of PEMC this year is to continually achieve organizational excellence and operational efficiency. This entails ensuring that financial, human, and IT systems and infrastructure are adequate and available to undertake all activities required for the performance of PEMC's mandate. In addition, PEMC will maintain its compliance with international standards in terms of its internal business procedures and policies, and prudently comply with all its legal and regulatory compliances. Through challenges are inevitable, we will remain committed to our mandate and will adapt to the changing industry landscape to the best of our abilities. We ask for the same commitment from all of you, our partners in this undertaking, so that together we can achieve our goals for this market. And just to close, I would like to thank again all of you for coming over and join us in this afternoon's annual general membership meeting with a very interesting energy market exchange earlier. Secretary Lutilia was here to join us in all the discussions. And we're really fortunate to have the full support of DOE and ERC. And I'd like to thank especially Secretary Rafael Lutilia and Chair Bona Dimalanta of ERC for supporting all the works in PEMC. So on behalf of for all of us, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much and good afternoon. Ms. Secretary, did we receive any questions on this matter? If there are no questions, we now close the discussion and proceed to the next item of the agenda. Ms. Secretary, there are other questions raised by our members which have yet to be addressed by the board and the management. If there are questions which could not be entertained, please email to pemc.events@wsm.ph so our officers will duly reply after the meeting through electronic mail or other modes of communication as may be warranted. Is there any other business to consider in this meeting, Ms. Secretary?
Mr. Chairman, based on the agenda, there is no other item to consider in this meeting.
As there are no further business, that concludes the formal proceedings, and I thank you again for attending. I now declare the 2023 Annual General Membership Meeting of the Philippine Electricity Market closed. Members may raise any concerns or questions regarding the meeting by sending the email to the Corporate Secretary at pemc.ocs@wsm.ph within 2 weeks. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, and we wish you all continued good health in the coming years. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this officially concludes the 2023 PEMC Annual General Membership Meeting. We hope that everyone was enlightened by the discussions that took place today. May we request all our PEMC Board of Directors and management to please come down stage for a photo opportunity. Once again, may we all request our PEMC Board of Directors and management to please come down stage for a photo opportunity. We'd like to remind everyone that the photos from the photo booth are now available for claiming. A gentle reminder for everyone to please answer the PEMC transactional survey, which may also be found in the QR codes on your tables. Again, a gentle reminder for everyone to please answer the PEMC transactional survey, which may also be found in the QR codes on your tables. Thank you for joining us here at the Crown Plaza, Manila. Please join us for some drinks as we get to know each other better during our networking socials. The hotel wait staff will be going around to take your orders. Once again, thank you and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.